Hi there, and welcome to Story Time with Uncle Bill. I'm Uncle Bill, and today's story is one of my favorites. It was the most exciting, it was some heartache to it too, but when you're 15 years old and you're out looking for adventure, we had found it. So, it involved my buddy David Lee, and unfortunately, you'll never get to meet David Lee. This was the last thing I ever gave him, this white tigress. If you ever look at that, he was my right hand man, and that's the last thing I ever gave him, and last thing we ever held together. So it's not like it's real special to me, but he was to me, and so it will too. And if you're ever wondering, that's what that is. And my man Pat Stitt, and Pat Stitt's on YouTube. You can see him on Grounds for Life. Got a couple videos with him also. But he had just moved here from, I don't even remember where Pat moved here. I think he moved here when he was 14. And this is where me and him got close. Me and David Lee, I've known David Lee since I was 7. And he was 16 at the time because he was driving. And so the first part of the story is I had just fell in love. And like I really, everything about this girl just drove me crazy. And so there was that. And I was having a bad hair day, and Maurice Duncan let me borrow his, I think it was a Syracuse hat. I didn't even know who Syracuse was, to be honest with you. But he let me borrow it, and was like, look, dude, I got to have this hat back and shit. And I was like, yeah, don't worry, I got you, man. Don't worry, I got you. And so I lost my track. So what would happen was sometimes there was what we would call these jack shacks, and we live in an area called Southwest. It's in Jacksonville, North Carolina. But up 258, they had several houses and mobile home trailers that were for specifically hand jobs. We call them jack shacks, and you had to be 18 to go in there, and we knew that, and being way under that, we kind of looked older, you know what I mean? We never really got treated like kids, and this is a different time. This is like 90, 92, 93. My man Snoop Dogg just came out. If you don't see that Snoop Dogg Doggy Style changed my life. I was already big into music, but I was into the oldies. Music's been a big influence in my life. We was listening to like Danzig's Mother, You Send Me Swinging. Good times, man. And nothing really ever we went a bunch of times. We were different. We always had a story. It was always the same story. We were UNC students, and we was on break. We didn't even check to see if it was break time or anything. You know, it probably never was. Nobody really ever bought the stories anyway, but they kick us out. We were too young. Except this one night. So the first house we went to was right across the street from Dave Lee's house. And because we lived in a neighborhood like that, we seen this one all the time. The women in there just really weren't attractive at all. But you try, you know what I mean? Just keep trying. And we actually made it in the house this night, and there was 3 girls in there, and they were just like in a living room. And we didn't even know you don't know what to expect when you go in these places. And because you make it to the door, that's as far as you make it to the door, and then they won't let you in. They need to see ID and shit. And just this one time, they didn't ID, and we made it in. They was like, maybe you're too young, you need to get out. So we left. So we go up the road a little bit, and there's this other trailer, and it's back off the road, and we get up there, and this skinny black girl, real pretty, man, but she kind of sounded like Beavis and Butthead, which I mean, she was so pretty, really wasn't a turnoff, but it was just like, wow, are you faking this, or like you real with this? Or pretty sure she was faking it, but if she wasn't, it was unattractive. But she caught the young thing and didn't listen. We couldn't show the ID, you know, that was the problem. We couldn't show the ID, and except this next place, it's called Private Pleasures. It's right across the street from Roadstown, going up 258. It's Mr. Moore's, like Moore's Mini Mart or something. I can't remember. It's Mr. Moore's shit, and we pulled in there. And when you go in the place, it's open, and as soon as the first thing you see is like this window. It's like maybe like a bank teller, big bank teller window, and it's got this little ledge that you go like, you know, right, and you pass, but that's open. There's no window there. It's just open, and you can see a little hallway off to that, and then you see the door that they go in and go in the back, and then there's a love seat and a chair. It's just a chair over there in the corner. And that's it. It's not really small, but it's not big. So we go in there, and same story now. But the story was we was looking for our buddy Joe Capaldi. He was a virgin, and he ain't never been with a girl. And could we hook him up? Just turning 18, and when we got to the counter, she was hot. People hot as hell. Smoking ass hot. Black. I'm not like she was just black. I'm not into black girls. I'm into all girls. But she was a smoking ass black, and she had on like a Carolina blue bra and panties. I mean, you just see it all, and just she was damn near perfect, and she was cool. And it took me like till recently, and you're talking from I was 15 to 40, at least 42, that when she introduced herself, all these years I've been telling this story and not even realizing that I might have been, because we were going to use fake names and just end up using real names. But she came out and she was like, "Hey, how you doing? My name is Jody, and I'm here to be your chocolate fantasy." But Jody's a nickname. I used to call myself Jody because I used to have a lot of extramarital affairs. At one time, that's all I ever did. From the first girl I ever had, lost my virginity to almost all of them at one time. I'm not really proud of it. It just is what it is. And as far as I know, nobody ever got in no trouble. I never got in no trouble. They never got in no trouble. Nobody ever found out. But it just is what it is. And but that's how she introduced herself. "My name is Jody, and I'll be your chocolate fantasy." They do it in prison too. If your girlfriend or wife left you for a guy, the guy's name is Jody. So we tell her the stories. Joe Capaldi's gonna be 18th birthday. He's a virgin. So there was this list of prices. You can get one girl for 30 minutes or 15 minutes or an hour. You get two girls. And the word that she just kept throwing out there was complimentary tipping. Complimentary tipping, complimentary tipping. "Oh, that's what's up. Can we get a card?" We got a card. So we were getting ready to leave. To us, we had already done something cool. Just talking to her. I mean, just think about it. How often we get to do that? Plus, she was in bra and panties, matching heels. She was hot. As we was walking out the door, she said, "Hey, fellas, what y'all got going on tonight?" And we told her about being UNCW students and being on break and shit. She probably read all through that and was like, "Well, shit, ain't nothing going on here. Why don't y'all hang out?" She was like, "Yeah, I bet. That's what's up." So Dave sat closest to the door in the recliner, and Pat sat closest to me, and I sat in the chair. And she left, and we're talking amongst ourselves and shit. Like, yo, man, this is fucking cool, cuz Eve, and not expecting nothing, and nothing else gonna happen. And just talking, and all of a sudden she came out that door right into where we were. And she had this, I call it a horse crop. I'm not really sure what it is, but it's like a stick with a piece of leather at the end. You giddy up, horse, you giddy up. Well, she came out with one of those. And there was a lot of things I would learn about my friends that I didn't know, that I'm glad I know now. And one of them was David Lee was free. Because she went up to Dave, and I've got the side view on this, people. You need to understand, what I see is Pat, and then I see Dave, and I see her side figure. So I'm looking at the boobies, and the butt was perfect. I mean, it was really, and she's over there. She said, what do you, have you been a good boy today? And he said, yeah, I think so. And she just hit a whap twice to a hit with a 2-piece. And he was like, ooh, you made my thing hard. And so me and Pat started laughing and shit. And she went over to Pat, and she was like, hey, you been a bad boy today? And Pat said, you gonna hit me like that? Because Pat's a funny dude. He's a tall man. He's like, you gonna hit me like, even as 14 or 15-year-old, whatever the hell he was tall still. He was like, if you're gonna hit me like that, I'll be good. She said, wrong answer. And hit it twice, and she was like, ooh. I was over there laughing. And I was laughing all curled up like this, and she just came over, and I think she hit me like 3 or 4 times. And so I was trying to block it, and she took my hat. And proceeded to walk back behind the end of the door and go back behind the counter. And it was in her hand the whole time she was walking. And it's not really that far. It's maybe like 10, 20 steps. But by the time she had got to the door, and it's probably like 5 or 6 steps to get to the window area, she had the hat on her head. She said, yeah, I got your hat now. And I had told her, because she had asked me if I liked Syracuse, and I don't even know nothing about Syracuse. And she was like, oh, what are you doing with Syracuse hat on? I told her I had a bad hair day. It was my friend's saying, how to get your hat back and shit. So she had took the hat. So she was back there sporting and shit. She was asking us questions, and girls came up, and she asked me if I had a girlfriend. And I told her the truth. I was like, yeah, I got a girlfriend. I love her, and blah, blah, blah. And we had never did nothing. And as a matter of fact, she was my first love, and we went out for 2 years and never had sex. So, and we did everything else, but the sex thing never happened. And I don't know if Jody liked the story or not, but it was getting late, and I mean, you gotta understand, we're kids, man. We got to go to school, and it was already we got there probably like 12 o'clock. This place is gonna close at like 2 maybe. I guess it was at the discretion of them, but normally 2 o'clock is when most bars close. We were assuming shit, we didn't know. And she was like, well, you gotta get the hat back, don't you? And I was like, yeah, actually, I need the hat back. You can give me the hat back, right? She said, no, you gotta go and get the hat. And I was like, all right, I gotta tell you. So after she had hit us and walked behind the thing, David Lee said, yo, can I ask you a question? She's like, yeah, what's up? He said, can you take a look at my snake and tell me if I got a nice snake or not? She said, yeah, come on up there. And I was like, damn, this ballsy ass dude. So I watched him walk right up to that window and just pull his pants down straight to his ankles. He's a white dude. White dude. And he would eventually grow big, long dreadlocks for most of his whole life. Great, funny dude, big time liar. My man, love him to death. God rest his soul. But she was like, oh yeah, that's a nice size digger. You got a nice size digger. And so I know that made his whole life at that point. And I don't even remember ever remembering that in a story. But I always remember after I tell people a story, and they'd be like, "Oh, yeah." After I told that story, man, David Lee, well, now I got to get my hat back. And she was like, "I tell you what, I'll make it easy on you. Just come over here and suck my titties, and I'll give you the hat." I don't even know if this time if I had sucked my girlfriend's titties yet. And I just always been one of those dudes. If you're gonna do something, you shouldn't, and you're ashamed or you can't tell or you gotta lie, you shouldn't do it. Um, so if I sucked this woman's titties, I was gonna tell my girlfriend. There wasn't no doubt in my mind. And so I wasn't gonna suck these girls. I just wasn't gonna suck the titty. Fuck the hat. But you can't be fucked a hat. And I know it's just a hat, and I could have bought a hat, but I didn't know if this was one of those special hats. It just could have been anything, you know what I mean? And maybe Maurice. Me and Maurice was cool as hell. And Maurice Duncan is Geechee Corleone. Raps, cool dude, man. Check him out on YouTube. He wasn't even there, it was just his hat. But she told Dave and Pat to go up there to the counter, and they walked up there, and I was sitting down, and it's right in front of me. And the next thing I know is I see the bra. Her bra's in the air. I don't even know. Maybe I just seen a glimpse of it. And I was like, "But Pat's tall, man." But I seen the bra, and when I seen the bra, I started running up there because I didn't have to touch titties to suck titties. But damn if I ain't gonna see no titties and you showing everybody else. I'm just as me. I've seen a lot in my life. and I really wanted to see those. And by the time I had got up there, she was putting the bra back on, like, "What you doing?" And I was like a fat man on a diet with the menu all I want, just can't eat up off of it. But she goes, "Nah, that ain't how it's gonna work over here." So Pat and Dave, being my two good buddies that they are, they took me over the side in that little hallway. We didn't get much far into the peer pressure. "Oh man, did you see the titties? All the prettiest titties you ever seen in your whole life, dude. Man, your girl would never know. You gotta get that hat back from Maurice, cause it's getting late. She's gonna let you suck her titties, dog. Man, you stupid, man. Never, we not gonna tell. Nobody's ever gonna tell. Nobody's ever gonna know. You gonna get away with this. Do it. You be a bitch." And they said the magic words. If back then, if you dared me to do anything, that meant I could prove myself. So I did it. It didn't matter what it was. Proving yourself. If you had to fight, that's how you proved yourself. You just had to. Whatever it was, I did it. I was going, now I'm gonna suck them damn titties. Now is what's about to happen. So I come around that damn corner, and she knew, man. I mean, that's the only way I can describe what she knew. Because when I came around that corner and I locked eyes with her, the next thing I saw was the bra going up. And she said, "Come and get them." And I mean, a fucking animal came out of me. And I ain't had a whole lot of making out experience with a woman. And me and her never kissed. But she had your boy harder than Japanese arithmetic, and I mean stone fucking hard. And she was kissing on my neck and ear in a way that I didn't know that. I didn't know you could feel like the goosebumps were on top of each other. Man, like hot and cold, up and down. It was incredible. And I'm sucking titties. And they was not lying. Folks, they was perfect. Perfect areola. It was like a damn Tootsie Roll. She was moaning, talking shit. Reached over that little ledge, I don't know how she got in my pants. I didn't last long. It was, folks, it was short. I was exhausted. I was defeated. Cause I mean, that encounter probably lasted, fuck, 2, 4 minutes. It wasn't long. It was pure ecstasy, though. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I really enjoyed it. And by the time I had got back to the chair, and I watched Dave and then Pat or whichever one went first, suck her titties and shit, and I didn't even realize the hat was already back on my head. And the only thing I could think now is I got to tell my damn girlfriend. That's really the only thing I could think. So we get in the car. It's David Lee's car, and he wants me to drive. And I've been driving since I was 10, so it was all good. I drove everything he ever owned, and he's in the back seat playing with himself. And we just can't stop talking about it. I mean, like, we really. And she turned out, she said she was 26. Because, of course, the next night we went back. Pat didn't go. It was just me and Dave. And she was there, and she had on, like, yellow, matching bra, panties, and shoes. And she came, we sat down, same spots, and she came out with an electric blanket. And so Dave was relaxed. He was relaxed, sitting back in his thing, and she had the thing on, and she just went over and sat on his lap, and kind of, and I've got that side view now. I mean, I'm side view, but I can't really see shit, to be honest with you, because she's got that blanket on. And she was just nice, man. So cool. But Dave got hard, of course, and she pulled his thing out and jagging between her legs while he's sitting on his lap. And my man was looking at me the whole damn time, folks. I mean, it was no facial expression. It was all eyeballs, and it was probably for like 5 minutes, and I knew he was getting ready to come, but he didn't say a word, no ooh, oh, coming, and he just started shooting right between her fucking legs, and she was real cool about it, walked around it, went and cleaned it up, and that was almost pretty much it. There was, like, we talked for a little bit about almost nothing, and she was like, look, I don't even want to be here anymore, man. I lock up, y'all wait and walk me to the car and shit. And she had this little white Honda, maybe a Toyota, but she had this little white car, and there was balloons. Like, it never crossed my mind that this one was anything other than jack off on me. But there was balloons there, said happy birthday. She's like, yeah, I got a couple kids, I'm married. Whoa. I just didn't see it coming. And she left. And of course, we went back the next night. And there was this woman there. It was a big truck, big wheels. And we was like, yo, is Jody here? And Jody who? I had a black girl. I've been working the last couple of days. Ain't no Jody works here. And even then, I'm telling you, just maybe last year, didn't even cross my mind that this woman was lying to me using the alias somebody who's a cheater. So that was the end of Jody, but not the end of my girlfriend, who I did tell the great big majority of it. I did tell her about sucking the titties and getting the hat back. I don't know if I told her about getting jerked off. Can't. I mean, my God, it's hard enough to admit the first part of that, you know what I mean? And I was for sure she was going to leave me, and she didn't. I think she said she might leave me for a wet mop, and it kind of broke my heart that she said that, but it was something that her dad used to say to her, and I understood it. And I was a wreck, cried for four or 5 days, and I would end up doing this a couple more times, and I would tell her, and she would forgive me every time. So, in that aspect, I was a horrible boyfriend. But it always proved that honesty is the best policy, and you just gotta, I mean, if you're gonna do it, you gotta take the responsibility of the consequences, you know? But anyway, that's the story for today. It was a wild ride, and I'm really glad I got to be a part of it. Hit the like, share, and subscribe button if you like it. Leave a comment. Let me know what you thought. Until next time, stay safe, have fun. Peace.